Welcome back to Comic Shop Talk on the Late Night Chat Network. I'm your host, Niko, and of course, I'm here with today. My host, is always, here, Chris. How you doing, man?
Hey, what's going on?
I felt that was like a little bit of a slow kind of intro that I just pulled out there. As you can tell, I'm rusty, guys. I've only done, I've only, well, for one, we're drinking as heavily as our episode last week. So I hope you guys enjoyed that one. That was a special live in person comic shop talk episode that me and Chris put together for last week for you guys after some end of the work season vacation time drinks that we had that day. That was a really fun one, eh, Chris?
I'll try to keep the profanities to a minimum this time. At least I will.
I'll try. Yeah, no, we were both the F bombs were flying back and forth very heavily last episode for sure. So I promise you it'll be a little bit cleaner this time around for sure. But you know, here and there, you never know. But yeah, no, just wanted to say for anybody who has been checking out these episodes, thank you so much for tuning into these. You know, please leave us a comment, let us know what you think. Hit that thumbs up button. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel as always here, Late Night Chat Network. Exciting news coming next week on episode 150 of our main flagship show, Late Night Chat. That's going to be live next Friday, January 7th, episode 150, with all of the main hosts of Late Night Chat. And, you know, we might have a couple of drop-ins along the way as well. You know, maybe Chris will jump on for a few moments as well. We got a lot of exciting new announcements to make that day. So make sure you tune in live to that episode. That'll be a really fun one. So I just wanted to give a quick plug to Late Night Chat, of course, our main show here on the Late Night Chat Network. But yeah, some interesting news coming. You know, that'll even affect comic shop talk. So stay tuned for that. That should be really interesting. Chris is looking at the screen right now. He's like, I don't even know what you're talking about.
Like, what's going on?
No, Chris is aware. I think he may have been forgetting, but yeah, exciting news, guys.
Yeah, well, so exciting. Right over my head.
But yeah, you know, and maybe we'll end up doing some more of those episodes here after a few more drinks in person. We'll do like, I was thinking maybe even bust out maybe you know, even if we do pull this off once a month, like me and Chris were talking about, doing the live in-person episodes with me and him getting together. And maybe not only that, maybe even putting those out live as well once a month for you guys, because I know these are pre-recorded, these episodes. So we'll kind of talk more about that off the air, but I think that would be interesting and kind of fun. So let us know if anybody's interested in that. And yeah, you know, like I said, let us know what you guys are picking up. If there's anything that you're digging that maybe we're not reading, let us know. Hit us up in the comments. And thanks as always.
Keep those views climbing.
Yeah, no, exactly. The views have been a little inconsistent. You know, I don't know. I put some TNA pictures up, the views go up. Like I put something else as the thumbnail, it stays a little lower, right? So, you know, I got to get these views up, guys. Let your friends know. If you watch this show, we see some views. If you guys watch this show, you know, other people that are into comics, you know, pass us on to other people. Let them know about this show. Let them know you're enjoying it. You know, we appreciate the recommendations that you might give. So anyways, without further ado, though, let's get into this week of comics. Much smaller week of comics for us compared to last week, which is a huge week of comics. And then it's just looking at the list right now, which we'll talk about at the end of the show, what we're looking forward to next week. For me, again, at least, another like smaller week, it seems like. Like, I don't know. It's weird. It's weird that the fucking biggest week we've had in a while is right before Christmas. And then the rest of the holiday weeks, they're kind of slowing down a little bit, at least the comics that they're pumping out that I'm picking up, right? So I guess we'll get into it here. All right. First up, we got Devil's Reign #2. All right. So you know, another big release from Marvel Comics. We talked about the first issue, how much we enjoyed that one for, you know, we talked about that at length. I know Chris at the time had only read about half of it when he got on the show and talked about it that time. He didn't make the show time on reading the full thing, but we talked about it off air. You actually really ended up enjoying it, right? The first issue.
Yeah, I think it's a great comic. And this one had a bit of a different feel. But I'm still down for the ride, and I like what's going on in there. You know, the cover's great, art and it's great. Story's moving along well. Now, I don't want to put any spoilers out there, but it's a bunch of different levels going on. It's not just a straight up story. What do you think of it?
Yes, and as always, thank you, Chris, for reminding me. I gotta really remember to say this at the start, guys. There may be spoilers ahead as we talk about these books. Sometimes, you know, spoilers. Since we do have to talk about the book, some things are worth discussing. So sometimes there is spoilers here in what we're going to talk about. Sometimes we try to steer away from some of them for your guys' sake if you're not caught up on your books as of yet. But if you're not, go read them and then come back and, you can hear us discuss these books in length without any worries. But we'll do our best. I really, really, really enjoyed this issue. I actually like this issue more than the first one. There's so many balls that he's juggling up in the air at once in this issue and new ideas that he established in this issue. I was actually just impressed just based off of that. Like, there's a lot going on here all of a sudden. Like, like the first issue, I'm like, okay, you got to set up a lot of stuff. I get it. And while I wouldn't say like anything huge happened in this, like there was some good moments.
Well, there's some big groundwork being laid now.
There's a lot of things going on in this issue. Like the things he's just establishing. Like, you got the Purple Man's kid out and about here. Like, she's like creeping around. She's kind of in play right now, as we know, like, I guess with the whole Daredevil thing. And then you got the whole Civil War thing going on, like that kind of tone and feel about the superhero.
Well, for this one, it felt like the old Inferno, I think it was, the Inferno event where all the different heroes were fighting the different villains. Like here, the Kingpin sort of lining up all these villains to go after these heroes. And I thought that was I don't know if that's done on purpose, but the first one I felt had a civil vibe feel. This had more of the old Inferno feel.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, okay. I can see where you're coming from with that. Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, I got that. Like, I still like, with the villains, I get where you're coming from, but yeah, I think it still has the Civil War feel of the aspect of them against, like, at least like with the Kingpin and stuff like that, or at least the city of New York and stuff, like the authorities that are coming down on them. But it's not so much like like it is just like, seems like the mayor of New York that has like his own like hit squad kind of thing, like going around, like police squad that are basically trying to run around and round all these guys up. Like, what I like too is that they involved current Spider-Man Ben Reilly in this. As much as we don't really like Ben Reilly, I thought it was interesting because you see him trying to go and save some people in this, and Taskmaster shows up and fights him for a moment, but Taskmaster is used to fighting Spider-Man, so he's sitting there with details that Kingpin had in his file. Of course, Kingpin,
that's another thing there was
right. Like, other than Daredevil, Kingpin's like a Spider-Man rogue. Like, I consider him more of a Spider-Man rogue personally, but I know some people, because of his involvement in big runs in Daredevil, have always considered him a Daredevil villain. Right. So, like, for me, him being at the Bugle waiting for Ben Reilly, which Ben Reilly has no personal connection to, like Peter Parker does. Like, I'm sure he was involved with maybe the Bugle back in his run back in the day with the clone stuff, but like not to the point where he's like, oh, we had files on you and we know that you have some attachment. You must work here at the Bugle. So, you know what I mean? Like that, which is the case with Ben Reilly. So like, it seems that was interesting to me. You know what I mean? Like a lot of,
let's say even if Ben Reilly gets unmasked or revealed, it'll still be Ben Reilly, like he might not get revealed in the Bugle because they'll look at him, fuck, that's Peter Parker, but he's got blonde hair. What the hell's going on? Yeah. But if he gets unmasked, he goes, I'm Ben Reilly. And then, who knows later on if the real Spider-Man's going to show up in this. And then like Kingpin will be like, what the fuck is this? There's two Spider-Men, or it would kind of blow his mind a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Go on.
No, I was going to say, and then like some of the villains, especially Doc Ock, Superior Spider-Man's up
to no good too. Right? I like it.
I'm actually interested in this because this isn't really a spoiler so much. In this, they're setting up, there's going to be a mini series with Doc Ock that's on a villain team that's kind of been tasked, I guess, to kind of mess with
Superior or something.
Right. I wasn't interested in that mini series, but after reading this issue, I'm kind of like, maybe I will read that mini series. Like, I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to, because I think I committed. The ones I did commit to reading were the X-Men one and the Electro one. But it looks pretty interesting. I'm not going to lie. And then like the whole aspect that Kingpin has the Purple Man's finger in that, like his cane with the inside the crystal. And that's how he's able to like influence. Like, it seems like,
so that's what I thought I wasn't too sure what that was all about there. The little finger in there.
I think the diamond that he has the Purple Man kind of imprisoned in right now. I guess that's the biggest spoiler. You find out they kind of set that up in Daredevil, or maybe it was even the first issue. I can't remember, but the Purple Man shows up. The Purple Man's power is to basically will people, like influence them into doing
to influence the masses. It seems he's going to use him to try and rig the election.
Yeah. So that's it. It all tracks, man.
Yeah.
It works for me. And like I said, while there wasn't any like holy shit moments, and to be honest, Daredevil was like not even in this really. Like there was a lot of like groundwork. Like he was in it, like very little. Like he's on the run in this, like with everybody else, right? He's kind of helping them. I will say probably the most interesting thing too is the Iron Man moment. That's all I'll say about that. I don't want to spoil that. I don't want to spoil that, but there was an interesting Iron Man Luke Cage exchange in this issue where I was just like, that's interesting. I really like that. There's a lot of good story beats in this, man. I gotta say, 2 issues into a 6-issue miniseries event for this, very impressive. I gotta say, very impressive. I think while it's not like nothing blew me away in this issue, the art was top notch. The story was good. I'm still really, really invested in this storyline, and a lot of good, interesting stuff is going on. I don't know. What do you think, Chris, overall?
Yeah, I think it's great. The only thing is I wasn't able to get an actual copy of the book. But so I think it's kind of tempering my enthusiasm. I just have to read it on my phone online, So I am picking up the book. I'm getting it whenever my LCS gets it shipped in.
Right.
But just reading it there, that's an easy 3.5. But once again, I feel bad trying to rate the book without actually having it. I find it's always a lot better there when you can kind of look it over and see how things go. You can read better and the flow goes better.
I think it definitely does affect your enjoyment of it because, like, personally, I'm going to give this one a 4.5 with my physical copy right here. Not a 5, like I said, just because I felt like there wasn't any game-changing moments so far, but there's a lot of interesting things going on in this event, guys. I mean, if you've been reading Daredevil the last 30-something issues with the current writer, I think it's paying off, this buildup. From the first to the second issue, there's like several new plot threads that have started. And I mean, I know these are going to go off, probably a lot of these into their own mini series and stuff like that. And whether those are going to pay off, who the hell knows? Because a lot of them don't, right? I mean, sometimes it has nothing to do with really what's going on in the main title, but for what it's worth for right now, very good stuff so far. So, all right, next up, DC versus Vampires #3. Chris, what did you think about this one? Oh, nice cover. Let's take a look at that.
Yeah, I got one of the variant covers there. Let's get a bit closer. There it is.
Oh, very nice. Is that a Superman?
Yeah, Superman there, I guess vampirified.
Right. Nice.
This one took a bit more of a serious tone. The first one was a little, this is number 2 or 3?
3.
I always felt the first one took a bit of a lighter tone there, where they're joking around about killing one of the Wonder Twins. But in this one here, where they're actually kind of, I guess the girl Wonder Twin, I guess I should know their names, but I don't. But the girl Wonder Twin's trying to figure out what happened to them. And I guess the Flash is now dead. So big things are happening. And, big things are going down with big characters in the story. So I think I'm really enjoying this one as well.
Yeah. Yeah. I will say, and we've mentioned it, I think previously already in the first 2 issues we've talked about on here, it is definitely a slow burn. Like is big things that happen in this. Like we got every issue, there's been a significant death so far, it seems like. And while in this one, there wasn't really a death, there's definitely a change up with character. Let's say that. I mean, these are vampires. Yeah. I won't spoil who possibly has gotten turned in this issue, but there is a lot of interesting things like that happens every issue to at least one of the characters. And we're talking about a 12-issue miniseries. So they're definitely taking their time, right? Telling this story. It's been interesting so far, though. I gotta say, I've also been enjoying it, but it's been a slow burn. It's definitely been a slow burn. I mean, things are happening, but at the same time, they haven't really covered a lot of ground, I think, so far in this investigation about the vampires attacking.
Yeah, because the vampires aren't seem to have been revealed yet, because they have some stuff with Green Arrow and Canary. What is it?
Yeah.
And they don't know who to reach out to because anybody they could reach out to could possibly be turned. So maybe until everybody can figure out who's who, or some of these kind of rogue rebel bands that are still out there fighting, might be something to look forward to. Might be something to look forward to seeing some villains fighting alongside the heroes.
I thought one of the interesting things that was mentioned in this issue was the fact that there's some sort of like the vampires don't even want to fuck with the Bat family. Like right now,
yeah, they tried to stay away there, but
Yeah, because it seems like I guess they just don't want any trouble from them. They're okay.
Yeah, that was like some freaking grunt level vampire, you know. That was no freaking king vampire or anything, you know.
No, because I'm sure it's gonna come. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. One of these issues, there is gonna be, if you don't get the big dogs, Batman, and like it turned into a vampire. One of them is one of the Bat family, or a couple of them are gonna get turned into. I guarantee it. Right? I mean, we still got 9 issues to go here, but so far, nobody is apparently a vampire so far. We'll see. But it's just like, I liked how they made fun of Damien about him being weird. Right? Like, it's just
Yeah,
like,
you're thinking he's a vampire, but no, don't worry, he's just weird.
no, he's just a weird kid.
Yeah, but he was fucking weird though.
And then how, like, what's her name, Black Canary and Green Arrow, or was, no, it was Nightwing and Babs, Barbara Batgirl. They just start hitting on each other right in front of me. He's like, are you guys just hitting on each other right in front of me? Like, what the hell? Like,
get a room, guys.
Yeah. So there were some fun moments for sure. Yeah, I liked it. So what'd you give this one?
I'll give this one a 4 out of 5.
Same. Yeah, solid. Yeah, I give it a 4 for sure. Yeah.
Nice.
All right, Chris, moving over to you. Detective Comics 1046.
Okay, so I'm gonna be looking at Detective Comics 1046 and Wastelanders Starlord. You know, the spoiler alert for both of these right before I stop. Right before I start. They both fucking suck. I bought this one here. This isn't on my pull list. This Batman. This cover has nothing to do with the comic. I look at this cover, go, oh, look at that. Batman's, you know, he's all bent over, beat up. I got fooled by the, what's that? By the Fear State Aftermath. That Fear State, they just got to get rid of that out of the title, man. I'm glad, like, I thought it was over, and this last one comes like, okay, let's see what's going on here. You know, I wasn't planning on buying this, but it was sitting there. Had a cool cover, so I picked it up. I don't know what's going on in this one here. Batman's not even in. I thought they'd be explaining why Batman leaves Gotham.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It had nothing to do with that. They made no mention of it. You know, it was just some of the Bat family floating around. I don't know. It didn't move the story around at all. I'll give this a 2.
Oh, man. So that was bad.
Easy 2.
How was the backup in it? There's a backup usually in Detective as well.
But the backup story is still on the Gotham Tower, or the Arkham Tower.
Okay.
And I'm not really digging that story either.
I also had heard, I was reading that Detective Comics now is going to go into a 12-part weekly event soon. Like, I'm like, where I think it has something to do with an escape from Arkham. And
yeah, I think there's like a 12 weekly Shadow of the Bat or something.
Yeah, I don't know about that, man. I was just like, I've already dropped it. I used to read Detective for a while, and then I recently dropped it, maybe like, I don't know, several issues ago. Yeah. So I haven't been caught up on that one either. So
yes, unfortunately, I'm looking it over. Maybe it's not as bad as I think, but I think it's still pretty bad.
Yeah.
And see, this next one I got here is the Wastelanders Starlord #1. To say I've been really enjoying this Wastelanders sort of offshoot one-shots. They had the Wastelanders Wolverine and Wastelanders Hawkeye before this. So I was really looking forward to this Wastelanders Starlord. Basically, in this story, Starlord, this happens, I guess, I don't know when it happens, but Starlord is on Earth. His ship is the ship from whatever, the Guardian of the Galaxy ship. It's on Earth getting some repairs. So while he's here, he decides to kind of just check out the wasteland. I guess in the Wastelander universe, he was dating Kitty Pryde. Mm-hmm. So he goes back to Charles Xavier's mansion there. Mm-hmm. And then I don't know what happened. He starts seeing ghosts, or he starts seeing something. It was all just a waste, because they weren't ghosts. I think it was like Mojo, or who's the villain in this? I don't even. I'll spoil the villain, because I think the villain's garbage too. What's that?
So this sounds
like Shadow King or something.
Oh yeah, Shadow King. Yeah, Shadow King. Yeah, Shadow
King. Yeah,
it
looks like Shadow King is stuck in Cerebro or something. Yeah. And he's trying to, anybody that shows up, he just tries to suck out their psychic energy.
Yeah.
And then basically it's, I guess, Starlord coming to terms of not being there while everybody died. Mm-hmm. What can you do? Why is he so guilty about that? He was out there fighting his own worlds up in whatever land.
Well, he actually did date Kitty for a period of time in the actual comics. Like, I don't know, maybe like several years ago now. There was a period where they were dating each other when Bendis was writing the Guardians book and the X-Men books at the same time. They were dating. So that that is something that happened. It wasn't just in the Wastelanders universe, like it was in the proper 616. But this sounds like this takes place before the Old Man Quill stuff. Like this is like
yeah. That's what I was gonna say. There's a little note there that says this happens before the events of Old Man Quill or something. I don't know, he just goes there and just starts seeing ghosts of like Kitty Pryde, ghosts of the X-Men, ghosts of the Avengers, and they're all just yelling at him, oh, how come you weren't here? He's like, hey man, what could I do?
Yeah.
But then in the end, I guess he renames his ship the Pride. And that's the big reveal, or the big
I think that probably is what he called, because I know he has a ship name in the old. It's been a while since I've read the Old Man Quill series. If anybody's interested in that, though, I do recommend it. Though that is a good one, and so is Old Man Hawkeye. But yeah, this didn't sound as promising, eh, Chris? This one,
yeah, it was all just ghosts, and I don't know. It didn't have the same feel as the other ones. I was expecting, maybe some other heroes to show up, not ghosts of heroes, just somebody else from the wasteland. Like the other ones seemed to have, like the Logan had the little Hulk, and there's an Iron Man suit, and that Dr. Banner. The Hawkeye one ended up having Elektra and Daredevil in it. And this one had really nobody, some ghosts, and and the Shadow King that he beats by freaking just smashing the keyboard on the computer.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, I was expecting more out of it. I'll give that a good 2 as well, let's say.
Okay. Next up, we got Swamp Thing Green Hell #1. Chris, I know you said you were thinking of picking this up.
I was thinking about it, then I saw it. It was one of the big ones.
I was just about to say that. Yeah. So for anybody who doesn't know, compared to your regular size comic books, these are a little bit bigger. They're like magazine size or something. Like they're wider, right, than the regular comic books. I personally like this format. I mean, it won't fit your regular comic short box, but it will fit one that's like made for magazines. Or, you know what? It'll actually fit nicely on a shelf with your books. If you got like, your graphic novels or something like that. I got a bunch of them stacked up like that. I personally like this format because for some of the really good artists they have on these series, to have the artist art like a little bit like bigger scale is nice. I was up and down with this issue, to be honest with you. At first, I was like, okay, yeah, this is kind of interesting. Not bad so far. This is by Jeff Lemire, favorite of mine, writing it, Doug Mahnke on art. I was like, okay, yeah, this is good. It's about like basically like these people that live on like an island that seems like their land is like the water goes higher and higher every year. So they live on like this mountain part of this like island in the middle of nowhere, and basically like I guess there's some other people that are coming around, and they come around and take their food and like fuck with them. They're like the like Negan kind of in like the like Walking Dead kind of, like they're another faction of people that like live near them, and there's like this group of people that live on like this land that's apparently the water is rising every year, and it's actually making it harder and harder for them to like salvage food and actually survive and live on this land that they're on in the middle of nowhere. And they don't really give you too much context to that whole thing. And the whole time, this one dude who's got a daughter is fucking with this guy who's kind of like a Negan-like character that comes around and shakes them down every once a month for like stuff. And everyone keeps alluding to some sort of lighthouse in the middle of nowhere. And hey, we're not supposed to go by that lighthouse, and it's bad news. And maybe we should go there and try to get help. And anyways, so, the whole time you're kind of like waiting for the other shoe to drop with this Swamp Thing aspect of the comic. And then what ends up happening is these two guys, they get tired of getting shaken down by these bad dudes. And all of a sudden they go to like some sort of like hidden bunker they have, and they just have like a whole bunch of fucking artillery, and they're like, okay, that's it. Like I'm fucking fed up with all this shit. Everyone just grabs like a big machine guns, and they're like, okay, let's go take these guys out. We're tired of getting pushed around. And the one guy who has the daughter, he stays like while she's sleeping, like in the room with like a knife, like by her like side on like a chair in his room, and he doesn't join these guys. I guess he wanted to protect his daughter and stays there. So then they go all out and they fight these guys. They end up killing a bunch of them. And then, but during the fight, this Swamp Thing creature emerges from like, I guess like the I don't know, like the marshland or something around that. Yeah, and look at this. Oh man, can you see that?
Oh yeah.
And it's just a crazy friggin' 2-page spread of this like grotesque looking kind of Swamp Thing, and then he ends up proceeding and killing a whole bunch of them. Like there's a lot of bloodshed in this, and this is a DC Black Label book, by the way, so these are like kind of out of continuity stories too, guys, and they're mature content, so they're swearing in this. There's a lot of violence in this, like blood and stuff like that, and people are getting killed. So yeah, it was pretty hardcore, man. Like when he shows up and he starts fucking everything up, it's like it's really crazy. And the 2-page spreads of Doug Monkey, the artist's interpretation of him, this looks awesome. But then by the end of it, the big reveal is, and I got to spoil this, guys, but this is kind of what hooked me, because like other than this cool moment where the Swamp Thing comes out, I'm just like, yeah, the story's pretty good, solid, but it didn't hook me as of yet. And I think this is only gonna be like a 3-issue series, bi-monthly maybe. By the end, they go travel to the lighthouse, the little girl and one of these other guys, because her father, it looks like, might have gotten killed during this shit that goes down. And they go to the lighthouse, and who is stationed up in the lighthouse? I mean, if you know anything about Swamp Thing and his history, it's an old ass John Constantine. And I was just like, yes, I was like, id, like, you know what I mean? And he resurrects, he does a little spell and resurrects the original Swamp Thing, Alec Holland. So this Swamp Thing, whichever one's existing in this future, is not Alec Holland, the original Swamp Thing. But it seems like he's a threat to everybody that's living.
Force out there, that's for sure. It sounds like.
What's that?
Sounds like that Swamp Thing that there is a force.
Yeah, well, that's what John Constantine basically says to him at the end. He's pissed because he hates John Constantine, like at least from their history together, and he's kind of just like, yeah, it's like, how dare you basically bring me back like this? And he's like, listen, we need your help. We need to take out this other Swamp Thing, right? So yeah, at the end, I was like, oh, awesome. Like, I will say the art looked very rushed at times and other times excellent. Like those double-page spread, it seems like he put all of his hard work into those double-page spreads of the Swamp Thing, which were awesome. But throughout, like, there were certain faces or background details where you could tell the artist was trying to hack it out, like he was rushing a little bit. It looked rushed at times, where he's much better than this. But these are oversized issues, right? And, so I'm sure that he was trying to get this book out, right? And he was trying to go fast at some points, but there was some scenes that looked great. Like the scenes that counted looked awesome, but otherwise it was a little, at times you're like, is this the same artist? Like you're looking at some of the face details and stuff. Yeah. So I give it a solid 4. But with that ending in mind, I'm really looking forward to the next issue. Like by the end, I was like, the ending was like a 5 for me when you put in John Constantine in this and the original Swamp Thing. I'm like, that's awesome. So yeah, absolutely great, guys. And then Justice League number 70 is the next book I'm going to talk about. This is okay. Right now, basically, the Royal Flush Gang, if you know those team of villains, they somehow stole Superman's Fortress of Solitude. Don't ask me how. They're kind of like, we're trying to figure that out in this issue, but somehow the Royal Flush Gang has stolen Superman's Fortress of Solitude, and the whole Justice League is now on their ass. But apparently this and a bunch of other occurrences that have happened in the Justice League books as of lately, all tied together. Possibly this Leviathan or whatever, this group that's been fucking with Superman in his main title books that Brian Michael Bendis was writing before, is still kind of messing with the Justice League now, and they seem to think there's a lot of occurrences that are happening to them that are just not just coincidences. Like there's a lot of things going on in the background of a bunch of bad guys, I guess, messing with the Justice League right now. And they think this is just yet another distraction, whatever's going on right now. So that's kind of where we're at. There's a backup in these. This is one of those oversized DC ones, like Detective, that has a backup, and that's the Justice League Dark, which is all like the magical characters and stuff like that, which I love. I love all those characters, but this story right now in this is doing nothing for me in the backup. This backup.
Yeah, those backup stories, like, holy smokes. I don't know why those people waste their energy on them.
I mean, listen, if you're going to put a $4.99 price tag on a book and justify it by giving me more pages of a backup that's garbage, don't even bother. Like, because this story, I don't even care about it right now, Justice League Dark. Like, don't give me a half-ass story in the back and be like, well, that's why we're charging you $1 more. I'm like, I'd rather not have it. Like, I'm buying this for Justice League, not Justice League Dark, right? Like, I'm buying this for the main title. All right. And sometimes a backup could be great. Like, there's been a lot of great stories over the years in backups as well, when they have been available in the past from DC. Like, it's not a new gimmick for them.
Yeah, but I think it's one hit for every like 10 misses, you know?
Exactly. That's what I mean. But I'm not a huge fan of the backup for that matter. So I don't know. I give this issue a 3. It was fine. You know, it's chugging along. I might drop it, truth be told, soon. I've been on the fence for it for a while, but every other issue, it's just like, oh, this is interesting. And then it hooks me just a little while longer. That's the name of the game.
The last page sometimes gets you every time.
That's right.
I hate it.
All right, Chris, why don't you start talking about Death of Doctor Strange #4 here for us?
So we got Death of Doctor Strange. Still enjoying this one here. It's a bit more of it's coming close to the end, right? It's Doctor Strange #5 is the end.
Yeah, of the Death of Doctor Strange. Yep.
Yeah, so this one's this is a pretty pivotal issue, I could say. It's like a big whodunit where Doctor Strange gathers all the players and kind of explains what's going on, or at least what he thinks is going on, to reveal, I guess, who killed him. And I thought it was pretty good. You know, a lot of characters in there, you know, a few twists and turns. And, you know, at the end, it still sets up a nice chapter 5, I guess, or book 5. What do you think of it?
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head there. That's what I was going to say about the whodunit aspect of it. Like the whole...
Yeah, it's like a clue game or something, you know?
Yeah, the whole, like, in any great mystery, murder mystery, and brings all
this. That's why I brought you all here. And...
Loved it. I loved how he set that up. Like, his whole spiel, his whole speech at that point in time about bringing all the main suspects together. Like, he calls on all his, like, greatest foes and other mystics and all this other stuff. And then, like, there's a spread like this where he's kind of just, like, going over, like, he's like,
why did they do this? Oh,
this happened, and then why would you do that? You wouldn't do that, so obviously it's not you. Or, you know what I mean? Like, I was just like, the setup of it was like you said, like Clue, like any of these movies.
Yeah, it's like Clue. It's like, you know, it's the gardener in the freaking the gardener in the dining room with the candlestick. Ta-da! Huzzah!
Which I thought was pretty fitting for this, and I like that setup. I liked his him basically wondering of his existence. I think there was a great moment where he's sitting there talking to himself where he's like, you know, why did I do this? Like, why would I bring myself back for this? He kind of feels like a failure at one point, and then Clea kind of has to like pump him back up. You know what I mean? Like his self-esteem, right? And not like that, but you know,
pump him back up.
Yeah,
well, you got the plus 18 version or something.
I mean, Clea's pumped him up for sure, right, in the past. But yeah, but I guess we can't talk ill on her anymore because she is the new Doctor Strange, as we know. Yeah. So, which isn't really established in this issue. I thought they were supposed to reveal that in this issue, and it kind of by the end of this issue, it seems, unless they do one final red herring swerve where it's somebody else, but it seems at the end of this issue, you know who the killer is. By the way, I should mention, I won't say it, but it's like all these things. It's somebody like insignificant where you're like, well, of course it's this fucking guy. Like, you know what I mean? Like, who cares?
Yeah.
Right? So anyways, I quite enjoyed it, man. Oh, and I loved his walk around with the dog. Bats, the ghost dog.
I still don't understand that dog, but
it was set up.
I like it.
It was set up in previous Doctor Strange series prior to this, and I like the character a lot. So I just like how he was like, hey, let's go for a walk. He's like, I always wanted a dog, but I was just so busy all those years ago. Yeah, I liked it, man. I mean, I love Doctor Strange. I thought it was a solid issue. What'd you give this one?
I'll give this a good 3.5. You know, I'm not a huge Doctor Strange fan, but I love the issue, and I'm looking forward to the next one.
Yeah, man, I got to give this you know, again, I'm always rating at a higher scale. I feel 4.5 for me. I loved it. I thought it was a solid issue, and I'm looking forward to the conclusion. I'm looking forward to the new series for that matter. The Doctor Strange comics, I don't think in recent years have been this solid for I know I'm a big fan of his, but the last few writers that have done the Doctor Strange comics for the past, like, since they've like pretty much made him a thing in the film universe.
Yeah.
Have been solid. There's like been, you know, how many years has it been? 5-6 years since the movie, however long it's been. there's been like 4 different good runs on Doctor Strange so far.
Well, they're putting effort into it, you know, like they're getting relevant writers, you know, try and make, because they got to pump this character. You still got movies coming out. Yeah. And, you know, it's one of the side effects of these movies is that if they do make movies of characters you like, their books become freaking hot, you know, and they're like, you know, you're getting people putting, you know, good effort and good stories into it. So I'm down for that, you know, like
same.
Before the movies, you know, Doctor Strange was like, you know, he'd pop up, you know, as a cameo in some of the issues I might be reading, but I never went out of my way to read anything he wrote. And, you know, now I am.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. There's nothing wrong with that. Plus, I think they just dropped I haven't seen it yet because I usually stay away from it if I know I'm going to watch it anyways. There's a trailer, I think, that just dropped this past week of the new Doctor Strange Into the Multiverse movie or whatever the hell it's called. So, yeah, there you go. Multiverse Madness, whatever the fuck it's called. Yeah, it's anyways. That just came out for anybody interested. So, all right, Chris, I'm interested to hear what you have to say about this as well to start this one off. The next one, Human Target 3, because I believe, if I'm not mistaken, this is your first issue of this.
It's my first issue, yeah.
Okay, so I'm interested.
Well, I'll tell you the reason I bought the issue was this art term cover.
The Ice Variant, yes. Who drew
that? I almost was going to ask you to pick this up at the store, but when I went to the place where I go, they had it there sitting on the shelf, so I go, fine, I got to buy it if it's there.
I got this hilarious one with Booster Gold eating a bagel.
And
who drew that? Who did the variant on that? Do you know? Or?
That's Art Germ.
Oh, that's an Art Germ.
I don't know if that's his name or if that's like a style or something.
No, that's
the cover looks even better in person. Once you take it out, like, you know, if you look at it in a certain light, you know, she's highlighted out there. And is this the character Dove or something? I'm not sure.
No, I think that's Ice.
Or she was the one that was in the comic with them, right?
That's Ice. That's Ice. That's it.
One of the good things I like about the cover that you just showed and this cover here, it has something to do with what's going on in the comic. You know what I mean?
It does.
Like that Batman cover just killed me that day when I was reading it. You know, you got a super awesome cover that has, you know, and that was like an A cover, it's not an homage to anything.
Yeah.
It had nothing to do with the comic. But this one here, you know, I just picked it up I'm catching it up midway. You know, I've heard Niko talk about it with what's his Christopher Chance? Is that his name?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's dying or he's on his way and he's trying to figure out who killed him or something. Is that that story? I'm not sure how she figures out into the story, but she's hanging out with him, helping him out. And she's supposedly Guy Gardner's ex-girlfriend or girlfriend, back from the dead on top of it too.
I guess. Yeah. I mean, they're talking about the Justice League International era. It seems like these guys were both on a team at that point in time. So they're referencing a lot of like older DC comic stuff, it seems like, from like the late 80s, early 90s, which I know some of.
Okay.
But yeah, she showed up as like the femme fatale kind of character this last issue. And she's kind of now trying to help him figure out who in the Justice League is the murderer, because there's a clue that pointed to somebody in this Justice League that is the person who murdered, that tried murdering him, posing as Lex Luthor. So he's trying to track them down. Yeah. So what'd you think, though, overall?
It just made me hate Guy Gardner, that's for sure. It's fun watching him.
He's a douche, though. That's the point of that character.
I think they're playing whatever the comic is. I think it's hitting all the right notes, you know, like I don't know much about Booster Gold, but I liked what he did in this one here. You know, it's funny even trying to run a bagel shop, you know, that cover makes perfect sense there where you see him trying to eat a bagel and on the way he's trying to sell them being like not pre-toasted and, you know, just going on and on about how that's a thing, you know. And I thought it was a great issue. You know, it's funny. It was, you know, there's some serious stuff in there, and then the swerve at the end. Well, I don't know if we want to call it a swerve,
right?
But the way he deals with Guy Gardner at the end, perfect. You know, like they talk about something earlier in the comic where you think it, you know, it's just wishful thinking, and then near the end, he somehow makes it up. You know, and like I don't know what this Christopher Chance's powers are. It doesn't look like he has any powers. He's just like a detective, but that's it, really, right?
That's right. This
is a good one, I guess.
Kind of like storyline, kind of like a PI type story being told here. And basically, his whole power is almost like just outsmarting people and trying to disguise himself or others as like, you know, people that they're not. And maybe just like, you know, just knowing people enough mannerisms.
Yeah, just enough to find their weak points or use it against them and stuff like that. Did he get some stuff from Booster Gold to help him out with the finish?
So Booster Gold, they stole his. I think they stole his. They stole
some water or something. Booster Gold had something to do with the water.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. No, I think he stole Booster's flight ring.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, they stole his because Booster Gold, he's a guy that comes from the future.
Yeah. They read that part where he's got all this tech, I guess, some future tech that makes him a hero. But he's kind of just a dummy, though, too, really.
Right. And he stole one of he stole the Legion of Superheroes flight ring. Like they had a flight ring, and that's what makes him fly. So that's
well, maybe he stole it, maybe Booster gave it to him. Who knows? Because they were talking for a while.
No, Booster stole it though. Like Booster.
Oh, yeah, but he got it from Booster Gold, right?
Yeah. So Booster stole it from his future.
Yeah.
So he came and became a superhero in our present day. He used that flight ring that he stole from the Legion of Superheroes to basically fly and become a superhero, essentially.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of his deal. Everything that he has is basically borrowed or stolen or whatever, and it's just something that makes him be able to operate as a superhero.
Yeah, but he's really not being an idiot. A pure soul, let's say.
I absolutely love this issue. I thought this was a perfect issue. Like you mentioned, Guy Gardner shows up, and he's basically what I think of Guy Gardner. I think he's just a fucking hothead asshole, like, and he is in this. Like you said, there is a great setup throughout the issue, and that's what I meant by pitch perfect, all the way through the end with that reveal, which I won't say that one, but as you said, like, it's a bit of a swerve, it's a bit of a kind of everything kind of falling into the right place type of moment, and actually adds to the storyline as well moving forward for this character. And he's able to scratch off another person off his list, possibly. And the moments with him talking with Booster in the bagel shop absolutely had me dying. I thought that his robot, I forgot his name. I forgot his little robot's name, but he's the guy that basically helps Booster.
That was kind of just giving Booster shit all the time, isn't he?
But it's just funny because he's trying to talk to him, and Booster's clearly not listening. He's like, oh god, like the robot's just like, oh, kill me. And he's like, what is this? Like, I can't believe I have to talk to this idiot.
Yeah.
I think I love this issue. You picked up a hell of an issue, I will say, for this series. For me, this is my favorite issue of the series so far.
Yeah, I thought this one was great. Like every few pages meant something. They all kind of bore fruit later on. Like, there's no sort of wasted story or wasted engagement with another character,
And the setup is nice for this series, guys. It seems like every issue so far, he's had 12 days to live. This is a 12-issue series. Every issue, it seems like he is now investigating a different member of the Justice League. And again, a murder mystery type story. So you get to see him meet up with a bunch of different characters, have interactions, and everything. Every issue has been like a one and done, like kind of like moments that happen. And like you said, no wasted. It's pitch perfect, honestly. Well written. Great art. I think it's great. I'm glad you picked this one up. Hopefully you stick with it. I think it's a great series so far, man.
Yeah, I might. I'm trying to whittle down the ones I'm getting, but I just seem to be picking up more and more.
Oh, drop some of those bum series you talked about earlier. Detective Comics. Come on.
Yeah, Detective Comics is out. Yeah, for sure. I'm gonna read that online. If it's any good, then I'll buy it. $5, man.
Yeah. What'd you give this one?
I give that an easy 4.
Okay, for me, I gave this a 5. This is my favorite.
If I knew more about it, could have been my first 5. But
yeah, this is my favorite issue of the series so far, guys. That's a great one. So, all right, Chris, let us know about Deathstroke.
Deathstroke. Okay, I'm just trying to get some names in here, but I like the issue a lot. He's working for some company there with Black Canary. I forget what that company's called though.
Trust or something.
Right. Yeah, that's it. Look at this. This is just the front page. The art in this one is just super awesome. I can't really appreciate it. But both him and Black Canary are in there. And I think in this issue, because Black Canary is working with Oracle to find out what the trust company's up to. And I think Deathstroke believes whatever trust is selling, and Deathstroke just wants to be a good guy or try and kind of do good things.
Right.
And I guess it's revealed in here to Deathstroke and Black Canary that trust aren't good guys, or they have bad intentions.
Yeah.
So they kind of trust turns on Black Canary and Deathstroke. So first Black Canary and Deathstroke are fighting each other. And then, they kind of come to a truce and say, hey, we've got to find out what's going on in this Trust Corporation. And then Trust kind of shows up and says, hey, guys, okay, we got to take you out. And, as I was talking the Starlord's one with all these ghosts and all that stuff, because while they're fighting, the Legion of Doom shows up in this issue. And I'm like, holy smokes! Wow, Legion of Doom, you can't go wrong with that.
No.
But then I go, I don't know, what's Legion of Doom showing up here? They gotta be fucking ghosts or like, something else, but not the real Legion of Doom. But then they're fighting in a few pages, and I finally think that they're the Legion of Doom because they kind of make some sense while they're there. Legion of Doom is showing up saying, "Hey, this trust company, we're the bad guys here. You're trying to kind of get our, cut our grass or mess with our turf."
Yeah.
And then I think the Legion of Doom is about to kill Canary, and then she turns around and does her Canary scream and blasts them. And it turns out they're not the Legion of Doom, and there was just some nightmare drug.
Oh.
But at least they're real people. So at least while I was reading it, I appreciated almost like a double swerve in my mind where I don't think it's them.
Yeah.
Then I do think it's them, and then I find out it's not them.
Yeah.
Whereas in that Starlord, right away, I know it's not them. There's no swerve to it or whatever.
Yeah.
And that kind of made me appreciate this one a bit more. And the story's going on. I think I'm going to continue reading this one. I think this Trust arc is ending soon.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they got Deathstroke kind of messing with the Bat family coming up, with some of the stuff that's going on in the Robin. I think, is there a Respawn? Is that something to do with Deathstroke? Doesn't he have a daughter or something?
He does, yeah.
And I think that's going to be messing up with Robin, and they're going to be all picking it up soon enough. So I'm going to kind of follow that.
Okay. So what'd you give this?
I'll give this 3.5.
Yeah, I've been hearing good things about the Deathstroke Inc. Series. You quite like it, eh? So far.
Yeah, I like it so far. There's a few issues hit and miss. This was more of a hit.
Right.
And now we got Action Comics. Superman here. Superman in chains. A slave of Mogul.
Mm-hmm.
Mongol.
Yeah.
The Mongol who's next, or the Mongol who is now.
Mm-hmm. This is on War World or whatever the hell it's called.
Yeah, they're on War World. It's like it's the darkest now here before the dawn, I guess. Superman's in chains.
Worth noting your favorite of the week, the last issue, Unexpectedly.
It was unexpectedly.
Picked it up on a whim, and now you picked up the next
one.
Yeah,
this is part 3, I think, of this War World arc.
Yeah.
And let's see, the Authority's all in chains. This Mongol. Mongol should just kill Superman while he has the chance. Superman is really incapacitated here. Like, this planet is built on the forge of red suns. So Superman is pretty much powerless. He's stuttering, he's stumbling along in this whole comic. But Mongol, nope, he doesn't want to kill him. He wants to make Superman his kind of his champion slave.
Mm-hmm.
And, then he threatens Superman, if you're not going to be my slave or my champion slave, then I'm going to come after your family, and everything you have is now mine because I've beaten you.
Right.
And I think he gives Superman the chance to kill his previous champion slave that failed him.
Okay.
And so he gives Superman this big axe, and then Superman has to kill him, but Superman just throws the axe and tries to rescue one of his friends, but it doesn't work out. And then, there's a scene where you just see Superman about to get wiped out. You think he'd be getting killed for that act, but he just goes black, and then he wakes up in jail.
Yeah.
Superman. And I guess one of the authorities are floating around there, and he comes to try and rescue Superman. And he comes in, with a big plan. Hey, Superman, I get you out of here. We can blow this planet to hell, and everything's good. He's like, Superman's no, I can't do it. I can't do it. What about the people of the planet and all that? And that's all fine. I don't know. I'm going to spoil this one here. This isn't really a spoiler issue. Like, nothing big happens.
Right.
But the way it's heading, I was all down for it until the last page is where Superman's in jail. All the chips are against him. Everything's down. He has no powers yet. And, you figure, how's he going to get out of this? How's he going to save this war world? And that person that he didn't kill, the old champion that failed the Mongol, he's drawing a Superman symbol in the ground. So now I think, like, the freaking people of Mongol, the whole series have been started. They're all slaves, but they're still cheering for Mongol. They're all, the cheering here, watch him die or whatever they say. I thought it was all great.
overthrow him, though, right? It seems
But I
like
think they're all going to rise up against him, and it's not Superman's power that saves the people; it's the power of the people that save the people.
that's.
And
I mean, that seems like a very Superman-like thing to happen, though.
I know, but
He inspires others to kind of like,
yeah,
yeah.
Especially now that he's an old man, depowered Superman. But that's a bit of I'm hoping maybe that's not it. Maybe the people will rise up and their hope will give Superman power. I don't know what, but he's in a dark spot there, and I will be buying the next one to see how he gets out of it.
Yeah.
And however it turns out for their next arc, but this one's on the chopping block, let's say.
Okay, on the block.
But it was good. Like, it was good until it was just a bit of a hokey story, or they're playing up the hokiness too much, I
was about to use the word hokey because it sounds like the way you're describing it that it seemed very road and expected. Like, you're like, yeah, this is kind of like,
like you try and make it that it's not what's going to happen, but then you got the guy who just tried to, or the guy he just saved, writing Superman in the sand, and he's in there with the slaves, and they're trying to kill him, and one person says, "Hey, don't do that. This is a good man." And they go, "Oh, it's not the good man. This guy's nothing." And
seen that story told before, it seems like, right?
Yeah, it's not like it's nothing new, it's
yeah.
But anyways, I'll give that a 3.5.
Okay.
I think I get the next one here.
Yeah, well, it's both of us actually on this one. I have read.
Oh, you got this one too?
Yeah, man.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Oh wow, look at that cover. Hold on now. Let's see that cover. Hey now.
Well, these ones I bought on pre-order.
Is that another?
I bought this one.
What is that? Another
that's Harley and Poison Ivy.
No, but the artist is another art germ, or who did that?
Fuck, who is it? I don't know.
Well, if you don't know offhand, no worries. I just was curious. Okay, yeah, it looks good though. Looks good one. Yeah, I got the regular series cover here.
What's this? Derek Chu?
Okay.
I think he's been doing a lot of these cardstock covers.
Right.
For the Harley Quinn. I've seen a few kind of in the same style.
Right. Yeah, nice cover. Nice one.
Yeah, the only reason I bought this one for the cover. I like the story though. I thought it was great.
Yeah, not bad, man. I mean, I've been reading this series. I mean, this is one of those series that Christine reads no matter what, because she loves Harley Quinn, the character. So either way, we end up picking these up, even if I'm not always digging the storyline in it. But it's been a solid series so far. I've been really enjoying the artist. Not this one that's on this issue, although this artist is good.
Yeah, I thought it was good too.
Yeah, I really just enjoyed more of the cartooniness of the other artist that was doing the series, like, because Riley Rossmo, I'm a big fan of his. But yeah, this artist worked. I gotta say, the one cringe-worthy moment though in the art, like a decision, I don't know if it was on the writer's part or the artist's part. And this is like an all-female team too. I believe this is an female artist and writer that are doing the book on this issue specifically.
Yeah.
Is like Harley is wearing like a belt here that says Yas Quinn instead of like the Yas Queen, like Yas Queen, like it says Yas Quinn on the belt. It literally says,
"Oh man, that went over my head. I had no idea what that meant."
I noticed that, and I just felt that was so fucking stupid. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like I barely get the reference, but even so, I do. And when I saw that, I was like, "Why is like it's not like her belt says Harley Quinn on it?" And I'm sure I didn't. Wasn't able to do it justice, but she's wearing a belt here, like showing it to you guys. She's wearing a belt that it says YAS Quinn, and it's just like one of those like sayings, I guess, that now people say that Yas Queen, and she says it says Yas Quinn on it. I was just like, come on, man, I'm like, the fuck is I don't know, that really pissed me off. I'm just like that because they tried to dress her up in like cool new, like more modern, like dressy duds.
Yeah, that's what I liked about this issue. It was like a day or a date night for Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy. They're all, not wearing their regular costumes.
No, but that's what I mean. The artist drew them great. And yes, it is cool to see them all dressed up and all this kind of stuff. And they're going out on a date like this, because at the end of Fear State, it was established now that they're back together again. Like they've kind of had this on again, off again relationship. And then by the end of this issue, though, it's still like that. It's like, will they, won't they? Kind of like they both, like Harley now is feeling in her life that she's finally on the right path. And Harley and Ivy still kind of wants to be like sort of a criminal. And now Harley's on Batman's payroll and helping him. And she's like, I think we're both got to try to like find ourselves still. And I got to give you your space. Right. It was like a nice, like, relationship-y type moment where she said, like, we'll end up together. I believe in us still, but we can't do it right now. You need to go off and find yourself. now, right? Like she's like, I gotta let you go, kind of thing. So it seems at the end of this issue, even though you get that one moment of them together in this, which I was happy to see, it seems like now Ivy is gonna just go off again on her own, like, right? That's what I got out of it.
Wow, that's everything in comics now. It seems, nobody can be happy for freaking. They can't even give like a one issue of happiness. They give one panel of happiness. Like, it killed me when they do that. Like, can't they have a little arc where these two are just having some fun together, live their lives? They all been through so much.
Well, that's why I'm like, even for a couple of issues where by the end of this, it seems like they're not even continuing with this storyline, which I was a little disappointed from because there was some nice moments with these two characters in this. Like they had just went through that fucking fear state, and
like wasn't Poison Ivy just like brought back whole? Like she was like split up into 3 people or something for the longest time.
Right, and then at the end of that, they made such a big deal about them getting together again, and if this issue in the main solo series is them just deflecting this whole storyline again for a while, it seems like that was a waste. It seemed like to me, I was like, why did that? Why did they set all that stuff up now just to be like, we'll be together soon, but not now? Like,
I know this is what the people want, but we can't give it to them.
I mean,
we got to wait till sales go really low, and then we'll freaking bring it back and give it to them.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the name of the next issue says here is Keepsake's Revenge. Like, I don't know if that means like they're kissing at the on the last page, but I don't know. Like it was
it's like a kiss goodbye. It seems
that's what it seemed like. So I don't know. I guess we'll see. But the feeling, at least it sounds like me and Chris thought the same thing. It seems by the end of this that they're like, we're not going to be together for a bit again. So I don't know.
Well, I hope at least if I do, I'm like, well, this might be one I'm not 100% sure if I'll continue reading.
Yeah.
But if the next issue, it'd be still nice to see kind of follow both their lives at least. At least they'll give you hope that as long as Ivy's in the comic, that there's a potential for them. But if Ivy's just like dropped, then they're just saving that for another time or another arc for another story or another artist.
Yeah, it was all right.
I do have to say being written by female artists or whatever, or by a female writer, kind of just gives this story a bit more weight. If this was written by a bunch of guys,
right,
I just know this would have been just cringe and bad. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I agree. I think it was a good decision to have a female writer write the book.
Or a female team on it. I thought it was great. I loved it.
Yeah. What'd you give this one?
It was not a superhero comic, but maybe a change of pace from what I've been reading. I give this a 4.
I would give it a 3.5. I liked it. I thought it was pretty solid, but it's as you said, I hope that they can figure something out and then they could give us a little bit more time with these two, because I think it's been one of the more interesting things going on in this book as of lately, because we've been in fear state land for so long.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole thing about this was like they talked about her henchman sidekick guy that she helped. That was a
I guess that henchman, his girlfriend, I guess. I think she's up to no good.
Same. He's a henchman that we've been following though throughout the series that Harley has actually saved, who is like a former employee of the Joker. So he had like some issues as well. And that's why he's got that tattoo of the face, like the clown face on his neck. And but she's taken him under her wing, and he's been like, a big, like lovable, like, big, like kind of dude like that kind of works for her. And
he's like, what's that guy? What's that name? Is it the Gooch from Goonies?
Yeah.
Maybe not that bad, but just a lug.
Yeah.
Just a big kind of kind-hearted guy, I guess.
Sloth.
Not a slug, a lug.
Chunk or whatever the fuck his name is.
Chunk,
yeah.
No, it wasn't Chunk the kid.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
No, the monster guy. Hey, you guys.
It's Sloth, I believe his name is.
Oh, I thought you said Slug.
Slug. All right, and finally, guys, we end with our. Now, I gotta say, we ripped into this book to shreds last time. Chris fucking shit on this book so hard last episode. Honestly, well deserved. We shit on this.
I think so. I still stand by what I said.
On Trial of Magneto with this book, Chris absolutely tore into shreds for sure. Me too as well. Because that was such a weird last issue, right? But now we're back again with Ben Reilly in this. Oh no, this is Peter Parker most of this again. And never mind. not in that as part of a horror story. But anyways, Chris, what did you think of this one? This one in particular?
Okay, I still felt it was a filler issue.
Yeah.
But as for filler issue goes, that is how you do a filler issue. I thought this comic was miles ahead of the one that was from last week. I just found it funny how there was not one mention of anything what happened last week. Like, you've just been in like, is he in the same hospital still?
Seems like it. I mean,
yeah, no, we're just gonna gloss over the fact that somebody tried to drag me to the basement that is full of bones of other people. It's not like I'm the first person. Like, somebody's been killing people in this hospital for years. But anyways, that's last week.
Yeah.
But this one here, there's so many good scenes in here. Like, even just while he's lying in bed and he's on his phone, getting a text from MJ, looking up at the ceiling, seeing messages from Black Cat.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
a little background story with him remembering, I guess, Uncle Ben when he had a fever, he had a cold or something. I thought it was great. Get a little cameo appearance. I don't know if you want to spoil that or not, but I thought it was a good comic all around, and I really liked it.
I thought it was good too. This is a decent issue. Yeah, I thought
the art was great. I'd this is the first time seeing Patrick Gleason, I think, for me.
Yeah.
And I guess he drew this one too. The kids everybody looks a little bit young in this for some reason, but otherwise, it's still like I don't even want to talk about, like, just looking back on that last one, like, the fucking art was bad in it, but anyways,
I love Patrick Gleason. I love Patrick Gleason, and yeah, this is the first issue where he's written Andrew on it, and he drew a few other issues during the Nick Spencer run, but I don't know if it was because he was new to Marvel, because he's been a DC artist for so long, and he had just signed over to Marvel when he started doing the Spider-Man with Spencer. Yeah. I don't know if he's just kind of catching his groove or whatever, but I gotta say, this is probably, like, because the first couple issues I saw him draw, I was like, yeah, it's good. This is probably the best one he's drawn so far in my mind. Like, I thought this was some of his best work on the title so far.
Does he do a lot of writing or no?
No. So he's written before. He has written before.
Okay.
He wrote a Robin Son of Batman series over at DC, which was a Damian series.
Yeah.
Which was pretty decent, from what I remember. And I love his art though. I thought this was well written. I mean, to be honest.
Yeah, no, I thought it's it's like not a story that's gonna knock your socks off. It's not like some groundbreaking story, but for what they tasked him to do, I imagine he did a great job and knocked it out of the park. They say, hey, we need a filler issue till whatever's gonna happen happens.
Yeah.
And I thought it's great. And then even the end with I think Doc Ock there, where they're trying to sell what's 84. And Doc Ock's going to try and get back some of his Superior Spider-Man stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of finding it odd that I'm liking Doc Ock all over the place now. I like him now in Devil's Reign. I like him in this this series. I liked him in that 80 Bay or whatever, when he was trying to put the moves on Aunt May. I thought it was great.
He's a great character. Yeah. So what'd you give this one?
I'll give this a 3.5, like, just because it's a whole hum story, but it's still a great comic, and I have no regrets. No regret buying this one. I pushed the story along a little bit. Seems like Peter Parker's getting a bit better. He just can't control his spider sense, but it looks like he might be getting a handle on it by the end of this. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, you read my mind. I was gonna give it a 3.5 as well. Yeah, I way better than last issue.
Miles ahead. Like, I don't know. Like, that last issue, they should just had Spider-Man dreaming about his happiest moments and just have, like, freaking just panel, like, the best, like, a best of panel. It would have been a Christmas present to all of us.
Yeah.
The best panels of Spider-Man and all his runs. Yeah. You could have 10, 28 pages of that. I thought it would have been fucking great. And he could wake up, my head hurts. And that would have been a freaking super Christmas present comic.
It was all the dream.
Yeah, no, just while he's under the haze of the pain, he's remembering. Remember, he could have, like, classic panels done with new artists, let's say. He could be remembering MJ when she could be saying her classic lines, or, but anyways, that issue is over. I got it. Anyways, I like this one, and I'm still sticking on board. See what things go from there.
Yeah. So would you get? Yeah, we both gave it 3.5. Okay, well that's it. So Chris, why don't you? You mentioned here today over here in Canada, we had Boxing Day that just passed here, guys. So, Chris actually had picked up some back issues. It sounds like he's going to show off for you guys here. Some Boxing Day sale
Some
pickups.
Boxing Day, some back issues hauls here. So I got a Daredevil. What's this? Daredevil 32.
Mhm.
Spider-Man or Spider-Woman 10. Nice, super awesome cover. I bought these basically all just for the covers.
Yeah.
I had this Gwenom Carnage. This was a second print. I didn't know that at the time, but it was $5 and it was 50% off, So what, $250? Can't go wrong with that.
Can't.
I got this Old Man Logan, sweet cover here.
Yeah,
and this was, I guess nothing happens in this issue because it's only $5. So that was $250. So this Future State, what is it? I just guess about just DC Future State, Wonder Woman flying through some lightning. Looks good. Let's see. I was planning on getting this earlier, that Titans United. And they just had the 3 there. So I got these 3 back issues. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
And, that's not going too bad. I got this one here. I don't know if you've heard this character, White Widow.
Yeah, I've heard of that. Yeah.
Absolute Comics.
Yeah.
I know it's a #1 there. I thought it was a pretty sweet cover.
Mm-hmm.
I got a lot there though. Oh, it's Red Sonja with the
Spider-Man.
Like the homage.
That's cool. I never seen that.
Avengers Forever. This Batgirl's #1. This was just a variant cover. I don't know if this was on sale or not, but it was there.
Okay.
And I still got more. I went to town. I was looking to buy some comics there. Oh, I got this one here. I like this one a lot. This is the Amazing Spider-Man.
Oh, that's
74.
cool.
And anytime MJ's wearing a Spider-Man costume on an Amazing Spider-Man comic, that's key.
Yeah, that's cool.
I get that.
Very nice.
And then they had let's see, a Black Cat #1, one of the variant issues. I was looking for some of the other variant issues, but this is the best one they had there. Yeah. And then they had Spider-Woman #1.
Yes. I think
and that, these Spider-Woman covers have been freaking all bomb, man. They're all been sweet.
Yes, I think that's the original cover, that one that you just showed, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. That Spider-Woman?
I don't know, the cover A?
I think so.
Spider-Woman?
I think the one that you just showed. Yeah, I think that, I think that was the regular one. If not, it definitely looks like another cover if it was a variant.
Yeah, I'm not sure if this is the variant.
I think that might be.
I don't know, like $7. So what, $350 for Spider-Man #1?
Yeah.
Can't go wrong with that.
That's a nice one for sure. Nice. Well, nice haul, man. Nice pickups there. Some really nice covers. Very good. Add to the collection.
That's it. But it's growing like crazy.
Hey, man, I like to see it, man, because like I said, I'm not huge on some of the cover pickups as much as you are, but I gotta say, some of the ones you show off, they are very nice. So if you have them in the collection, it definitely makes it a better reason to hold on to those, right? For those nice covers, for sure. And then very quickly, I just want to mention something in the news for comic books. The Timeless issue, as you can see, me and Chris did not talk about that this week. I guess he was planning on picking it up. It wasn't available at my store. We got shorted on it, it looks like. So we didn't end up picking that up and reading it, even though we probably were going to. But I got to say, from what I've been hearing as a result of this Timeless issue, which I guess features King and supposed to be showing some of the events that are going to be happening over the next year of Marvel Comics, the big announcement that came out of it is the return of Miracleman. Now, Miracleman, for anybody who doesn't know, was a comic that they kind of, Alan Moore, the famous comic book writer, had worked on years ago, originally in Warrior magazine, which was like a British or English, I guess, magazine comic. Then and then was later printed by Eclipse Comics, which was like a earlier imprint in the 80s of Marvel Comics. Anyways, the rights for Miracleman have been in limbo for many years since. They have barely reprinted them. Years ago, they came out with some smaller standard edition hardcovers of the original Miracleman issues. They recolored them. They didn't look great. They never finished the series. Neil Gaiman famously took over for Alan Moore after his run on it and never finished it. And then there was some rights issues, believe it or not, between Todd McFarlane and Neil Gaiman and Marvel over the Miracleman. And then they had to change the name, or DC had to change the name because they have Mr. Miracle, but then there was that whole Sorry, I'm thinking of the Shazam name thing, but Captain Marvel and all that. That has nothing to do with this. So anyways, there's been some right issues in terms of reprints of these comics, as well as including him in the Marvel Universe. And years ago, it seems like they had worked it out. Then they did nothing with it ultimately other than reprinting some of his comics. And now it seems like they're finally ready to bring Miracleman back into the Marvel Universe this year as a result of a teaser that happened in this Timeless issue. So that is a big deal for some that don't maybe know the character. It may be, like, who's this guy? Why does it matter? He is an interesting character, but he comes from a time where they were doing dark and edgy comics, and for the first time, like, is around the same time as Dark Knight and all this other kind of stuff. So Alan Moore did a lot of groundbreaking stuff, which maybe wasn't as common at that period in time, but now is very common. And so I think he hasn't aged well as a result. So we'll see. I mean, I like the Alan Moore comics. I have the 3 hardcovers that they re-released years ago. I like Miracleman from those, but it's not like I'm sitting here wishing that this character came back. Like, I don't hold him near and dear to my heart like that. I don't know. Do you have any experience with this character, Chris?
Yeah, no idea who the Miracleman was.
Yeah.
And that could be, if it's a character that hasn't been around for 10, 15, 20 years.
Yeah.
It might be tough to acclimate to the new environment, Yeah.
He has basically, it's kind of like a Shazam like kind of power type deal where he yells something and he transforms Komota. Yeah, he transforms into the Miracleman. So
what time frame is this around? Is this like early 80s or something, or 90s?
I think it's 80s.
Yeah, because I collected maybe 84 to 95-ish. And I don't remember running into him or hearing much about him. I guess he might have been in limbo by then already.
Yeah, because I think the reprints came out from Eclipse Comics in late 80s. So it's probably early 80s, maybe even late 70s when they was originally published.
Yeah. That sounds like that, the type of character where everybody has alter egos, because remember, Thor used to slam down to the ground and turn into somebody. Captain Marvel, he used to slam his bands. He'd turn into somebody, turn into Rick Jones. Hulk would turn into Dr. Banner. Even Wonder Woman, she used to spin around and turn into Diana Prince. That's sort of fallen out of flavor nowadays,
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know. They also announced that they're going to be doing an omnibus. This is a big hardcover collecting all of this original comics, but the talk that's happening right now within the comics community, for anybody is interested in those kind of things, is whether or not they're going to go back to the original coloring of the comics. Because when they came out with these 3 hardcovers, I don't know, several years ago now, this came out in 2014, and then they just didn't do anything with it after that. When they said it seems like they got all the rights sorted, and maybe they didn't. They recolored the issues in these, and the recoloring job they did on these was really bad compared to the original old comics. So I think what everyone's wondering now is if they're going to re-release all the old material again for when they actually introduce them back into the Marvel Universe. Are they going to reprint the original coloring and the original kind of look of this character, like the old comics, or not? So if they do, I probably will pick it up. I've read these 3 hardcovers. If you can find these guys, track these down. This does contain all the original Alan Moore written Miracleman issues. And I think it's pretty good. Does it hold up? Maybe not as much as it was probably revered back then, because they weren't doing really dark and gritty kind of comics back then. And then when they started doing it, it was a big deal. But now we've seen it so much at this point. It's not as like shocking or groundbreaking at this point in time. But you got to think, this is an older comic, right? So, I mean, it is cool looking at it through that lens for sure. So, yeah, that's the big news that kind of came out this week as a result of that Timeless issue, is Miracleman returning to Marvel. So, all right, Chris, what are you looking at forward to picking up next week?
Okay, we've got another bit of a big list there. I got Black Widow 13, Cap and Iron Man 2, Darkhold Omega, Inferno 4. I think that might be the end of the Inferno run.
It is, yeah.
So I don't know. I'm kind of looking forward to that. I'm hoping something, earth-shattering happens, but I don't think anything will. An Amazing Spider-Man 84, Thor 20, Wastelanders Doom, X-Men 6. Still following Batman 119. That's supposed to be pretty decent there, with Lex Luthor poking around in there.
Yeah.
Got Dark Knights of Steel number 3. Looking forward to that.
Yeah.
And that Justice League Incarnate, I wasn't able to get issue number 2. So if that's floating around anywhere, I might try and pick that up.
I've been hearing some really interesting things about that series, man. It seems like there's a lot of fun stuff going on in that one.
Yeah, and the Justice League Incarnate 3 is supposed to be coming out next week. If that's around, I might pick that up as well.
I got a lot of the same ones you got here. I got Batman 119, Dark Knights of Steel number 3. Really, really looking forward to that. Like you said, I've really been enjoying that one every time that comes out. That's like the top of the stack for me.
That's probably one of my number 1 comics right now that are out there.
Yeah, I was on the fence after the last issue, even though I enjoyed it, because I didn't know if I was going to pick up the collected edition or not. But I might just read it outright. Is 1 Star Squadron. I might pick up number 2 next week because I did enjoy the first issue. I just wasn't sure how I was going to go about reading it. Magic Order number 2. Magic Order 2 number 3. Picking that up. Amazing Spider-Man 84. Inferno number 4, as Chris said, last issue. Looking forward to that one quite a bit as well, because this is kind of wrapping up Hickman's time on the book anyways, on the X-Men. Thor number 20. Also very much looking forward to that. I thought they ended it on a really nice note on the last one. Thor is really interesting right now. And then apparently after this current storyline, they're going into Thor versus Hulk. So that's awesome.
Yeah, there's big stuff going on there. It's a God of Hammer storyline right now, is it?
Yeah. And then X-Men number 6. This is the Captain Krakoa issue.
Captain Krakoa.
Yeah.
Is this the reveal for him? Is this like a first appearance or
appearance? I think of.
Or has he been around before and just a
No, this is new. I think this is happening in this issue. The number 6, I think, is the issue that they teased that he was going to come out in, right? That you had heard the news from. So yeah, I mean, that's it for me next week. Again, kind of like the same thing, about eight comics or so. But yeah, looking forward to chatting as always. This is always a lot of fun. Okay, Chris, it's the moment of truth though. Your favorite book of the week. You want me to say it first, or do you got this?
I think we both got the same one, I might say, but yeah, you go pull yours first. Oh yeah.
Absolutely, man. I'm glad to hear it, man. This was a solid issue, man.
Let's say, there's nothing superhero-y about it. It was just a good story, straight up good story, good writing.
Yeah, Human Target number 3, everybody. Go pick this up if you haven't yet. Hopefully it's not far along as of yet. If you are able to find the first 2 issues in this one, it's only a 12-issue series. So, I mean, it's not a huge commitment. Check it out. It's for something different. If you're into PI stories, if you're into mysteries, and you're into learning a little bit maybe about some of the DCU characters that you're not familiar with, like Chris had mentioned, he's not familiar with Ice or whomever, but it was a good story being told in this, right? So
yeah, it's a Black Label, but it's not like they don't use that as any sort of crutch or anything. It's not overly gory, overly sexy, or overly anything. Like I don't know why. Like maybe it's just Black Label because it's out of continuity. That's about it.
Right? Yeah, that's possibly it. I don't know. Although there is a moment that we didn't mention that he was possibly able to score with Ice, or at least she alluded to it in this, and that just didn't happen for him in this one.
Yeah, come on, really. Isn't the guy like supposed to be like 60 in this or something? Hey, is she old or not? Like she looks like young in this here, but
she invited him in. She
invited him in. Yep.
It's like
they had a bit of a saucy encounter there.
Yeah, absolutely. Anyways, guys, we'll see you guys next week. As always, make sure that you like this video, leave us a comment if you want to keep the conversation going. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. We just surpassed 150 subscribers recently, guys, so we're very happy about that here on the Late Night Chat Network. And stay tuned for some big announcements next week. And if interested, check out our live episode of Late Night Chat on Friday, probably about 8 p.m. Next Friday, January 7th, live. Episode 150, big milestone with all of me and all the other co-hosts of Late Night Chat on the Late Night Chat Network. And yeah, we'll see you guys then. And we'll see you guys next week, as always, for some more comic shop talk. All right, everyone.
All right. Happy New Year.
Yes. Happy New Year.